Hey everybody, welcome back to the Arbitrage.Run show. I am Donkey Teeth, running solo today without Kevin. Hopefully you don't turn this off immediately once you hear that Kevin's not here. I'm sure some of you will, and I don't blame you. I tried to get Kevin to come on, and he said he had to work out, so I figured I'll try to run solo here for a quick show. I'm gonna try to do this in like 15 minutes or so, but we dropped our regular weekly Arbitrage.Run show, Kevin and myself, yesterday. And I got a couple comments asking us to go through the horses that we did decide that we're going to enter into the Lucky Maiden this go round. And if we could go through those and give some of our thoughts on why we picked these horses, what our thought process is here. And we both thought that was a good idea, Kevin and I. So I think we might make this a regular monthly special, the Lucky Maiden preview, because it is such an awesome event. It's so great for the community, and it's a blast to partake in. So we really do appreciate you setting this up, Lucky Jack, and everybody that does contribute to it. So I'm going to run through the horses that we have put aside for ourselves to enter into the Lucky Maiden. And then we'll do kind of a review on next week's show. Actually, I guess it's not going to be next week's show. It'll be the show after that, once the grand finals run of the Lucky Maiden. And then at the end of this show, after I run through it, the horses that we have put aside for the Lucky Maiden entry, I'm going to do a quick demo on how you go about entering the Lucky Maiden. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let me show first off, for those that aren't familiar with the Lucky Maiden, we kind of have walked through this before on the show, but how you go about finding some information on it, and because this is going to help you decide which horses to enter. So if you're not following Lucky Jack on Twitter, go ahead and follow Lucky Jack out there. It's Lucky Jackamoto on Twitter. And each Lucky Maiden, he puts a Google Doc together showing the rules for the Lucky Maiden. And we'll go ahead and open that up. And let's see, I got to switch screens because that opened a new window here. Bear with me. So here is the Google Doc for Lucky Maiden 7. And it's got pretty much everything you need to know here for Lucky Maiden 7. You need an unraced horse, first of all. It can't have any races. And each horse needs to race 20 races in the 4-day window that starts with the ZED Maiden on Sunday night in the US. So there's a bunch of different grand finals for the Lucky Maiden. There's the overall top 12 horses is the big grand final. And 30% of all the token revenue goes towards this overall grand final. The top 12 horses, no matter what their bloodline are, a lot of the time they're going to be, at least, I'd say at least a third of them are going to end up being legendary Nakamotos coming from a couple of the best studs in the game, is typically how it ends up shaking out. But as Lucky Jack has delineated here previously, the last couple pots were 3.46 and 4.43 Ethereum. So 35% of that went to the prizes for the overall. And then on top of that, there's all these other grand finals you can see here: Best Nakamoto, Best Sabo, Best Finny, Best Buterin. So the top 12 of each bloodline that enter will be in those grand finals, and they each have their own prize pool. And you can see he's got laid out how much these prize pools were in the past couple. There's also Best Genesis. It costs a little bit more if you want to enter Genesis into these versus a bred horse. And then some fun ones down here: Best Z10 plus, Best Z20 plus, Best Crosses and Pacers. That one's a lot of fun. Elites and Exclusives. And then the color one is cool too. Best Moon is the category for this one. So that's your whites, grays, and blacks. And we got a link here to the coat color chart so you can verify that your white is actually in the moon category or whatever. There's also super rare coats and super coats. And I'll tell you, we have one super coat that we're going to be entering into this one. And it's we're not super optimistic on this horse, but the bar is very low for these super coats, because there's probably only going to be a dozen super coats that even enter into this, because they're tough to breed, and who knows if people have been saving them after they do breed them. But we do. If we end up breeding a super coat, we typically save it for the Lucky Maiden, because why not? And then the butyrine, that's well, I'll talk about it as I go through the ones that we've selected, but this is just kind of a high level overview. There's also free ones that you can enter too if you don't want to pay the money to enter a horse. You can enter a couple of free things that Lucky Jack has laid out here. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on. It really is a great event for the community, and we're happy to promote it here and take part in it for only that reason. But I will dive in now. If you want to follow along with the horses, I'm going to go over here. Let's see. Let me change my screen again. Screen share. So if you want to follow along, it's Arbitrage Hand Stable is where we have all of our unraced horses chilling, waiting for entry into the Lucky Maiden. So go to Arbitrage Hand Stable, and then you're going to filter by horses that have 0 races. If you want to follow along with the horses that I'm going through here, not necessary, as I'll walk you through without seeing. Okay, so just from top to bottom, we're not 100% that we're going to enter all of these, and there's a couple more that we have yet to breed that we know we're going to be entering. And you can actually breed them after, even up to 2 or 3 days after the Lucky Maiden starts. You can enter a horse. You're just going to be under the gun trying to get those 20 races in. We did one with less than 24 hours left last cycle and ended up qualifying it, actually. We had to run it maybe 4 fatigued races or so, but it's doable. You're only going to do it if you've got a horse that you think really has a good chance at qualifying in its particular grand final. That one was a Sabo, and it was a pretty light field. There weren't a ton of Sabos entered last go round, so we knew we had a pretty decent chance at qualifying for that grand final, and we did, and we actually ended up winning it. So that worked out pretty well for us. So anyway, getting into these horses, this first one here, we were going to list this one for sale, and you can see here it's coming from Limitation Penance and Basilica. It's a legendary Z2. It should be a pretty decent sprinter, pretty consistent. We don't think it's got a huge upside. There's not a ton of variance coming in from this combo, so it's going to lack that C1 paid upside, but this could be a nice consistent tournament horse. That's what we're thinking here. And then the kicker, we were on the fence of whether we wanted to keep it or sell it, just because we're trying to be pretty selective. Our stable is growing in numbers so fast, but this is Midnight Blackcoat, and that's in the moon category. So it gets that entry into that special category for the Lucky Maiden, and a little better chance at being profitable in that. So we're going to go ahead and enter that one. That's our thought process there. This is the horse we're most excited for here. This one's coming from, this is a legendary Z2 filly we've been holding just for the Lucky Maiden. It's coming from Ready, Set, Boom and Delicious Irony. Don't need to say a whole lot there. The last go round from this one was Ironic Boom. And if you pull Ironic Boom up, it's a pretty great marathoner in Class 1. It can compete in low stakes Class 1. So we've got high hopes for that one. That's probably our number one contender. Moving further down the line, we got a Z8 Sabo here. So this one, again, you can think about how many categories they'll be eligible for. They're all eligible for the overall, right? And they're all eligible for their bloodline. And typically, there's less Sabos in the economy. For whatever reason, Nakamoto's have, because of the prestige in breeding them and the base ability involved, there's a lot of them out there. Butyrins are the cheapest, and they're the cheapest to enter. So there's a lot of them entering there. And then Finnies, I think that, because they're the next cheapest to breed and to enter in Lucky Maiden, there's quite a few there. And Sabo's just they're kind of the forgotten, ugly stepchild of the Lucky Maiden. So typically, we'll see if there's more this one, because we have highlighted it on the past couple shows, but typically there's not a ton entered. We'll see if that changes this time. So that's kind of a benefit here to the Sabo. And then, it's eligible for the exclusive elite prize pool as well. We'll see if we end up entering this one. This other Sabo was the same. It came from Luria Overcast Dog and Pony Show. This is from Scoop Dog. And Ponyfish was on the other side here. So this one didn't come out that well, but we had to breed it out for that lineage. I don't know. I don't know if we'll enter these two. I think we'll probably just end up running these two in the ZED Maiden, would be my guess. So the next one here is this Z7 Elite Nakamoto filly coming from Edgehead and Boomstrider. A lot of good pedigree coming into this horse. Boom Strider is coming from Star Strider and Ready Set Boom. Edgehead, let me pull up Edgehead here. Uh, Edgehead is a fun one coming from Publisher and Third Head on this side. And then we've got Breathless Edge Blood here on this other side. And this Breathless pattern is a pretty solid horse. So this was the first offspring for Edgehead. Edgehead is pretty good in her own right. You see some nice variants here. So we're kind of excited about this elite. And again, my screen didn't share. It didn't switch over. We're kind of excited though about this elite. Could be a really fun elite, and it's going to be eligible for the elite exclusive grand final in the Lucky Maiden. Next, we've got a Z9 Nakamoto Cross. So again, immediately that the threshold for the Cross and Pacer grand final is never too scary. So that's a fun part of the segmentation that Lucky Jack has created with this event here. Sumo Head was a really nice elite mare that we used here, and then Boom Strider again, the Ready Set Boom Star Strider. You got some fun ancestry lottos going on there, and pretty solid horses in their own right. So excited to see what this cross turns out to be. And then you got the bonus of it being a filly. You know, we can breed that out and breed it some cool pacers down the line. We got a Z20 Finny here, Finny Cross, and so this one will be eligible for the Z20 Plus. It'll be eligible for the Finny Bloodline Grand Final. It'll be eligible for the Cross and Pacer Grand Final. So a lot of outs here on this horse, and that's kind of one of the things that we look at when making these decisions. So we've got Roll of Grandeur here. A lot of really good blood in this horse, and then Volatile AK is AK was the father, and Volatile. Is it Volatile Rain or Volatile Artist? It was Volatile Artist. Was the mother of this one. So some really good pedigree here as well. And that's the thing about these. It's just you feel like you kind of have to breed them out when they have such good bloodlines coming down the line. And it's whether we run them or end up listing them for sale, and then if nobody wants them at the bargain bin prices we feel like we're listing them at, we end up running them. And a lot of time they'll be profitable. Sometimes they'll be unprofitable glue, but that's kind of the risk that we take. Next here, we've got, this is the super coat. This is the super coat that I alluded to before. We got a Z13 Buterin Elite Filly. This one's coming from Pound of Marajo. That's Pound of Fat and Marajo. So two really good parents on this side. And then Limitation Free comes from Limitation Penance, RZ1, and Live and Free. This is just an okay horse. It's a consistent kind of tournament horse that is not even that good for tournaments. But, it's a Z2 legendary female. And we like to do something like this where we breed a low Z Buterin, and you can do a lot of different things. Plus, we got the super coat. So the threshold, again, for getting into that super coat grand final should be pretty low. Next, we got a Z13 Nakamoto Cross Filly. This one, again, it's eligible for the Cross grand final. Oh, I'm really excited for this one, actually. This is one of the best cross bloodlines that you'll come across in the game, on the sprint side at least. So there's Tisha blood on both sides, and one more creation comes from One More Wave and Creation of Mortals, RZ1. And shout out to Jamish. Jamish owns this horse and gave us a stud with him. So we're really excited about this one. The very best Tisha is another really fun one, and that one comes directly from One More Tisha and The Very Best Blood. The Very Best Blood. I mean, you can keep going down these lines, and it's just banger after banger. The Very Best Blood comes from The Very Best There Is, and then Naish, I believe it's pronounced, which is a Billions Berserk 2.0 kid. So it's just absolutely loaded cross bloodline here. Really excited about that one. Let's see how many more we got. We got about 6 more. Hang with me here. So next we got this Z4 Nakamoto Colt. This one's coming. So sorry. Apologies to Renowned here. We sniped Renowned twice on Meantime. I think he put Meantime into stud at like 0.1, and Kevin and we messaged each other at the same time. We're like 0.1, like this horse. I think Galactic, he used to own this one, and he used to put it in around 0.4, 0.5. So when we saw it pop up at 0.1, it's like, man, that's just way too low. We're both going to try to snipe it. And we did both snipe it. So we've got 2 offspring from this one. Pound of Influence here is a social influence common pound kid. We're pretty excited about this one. And then the next one right here is another one coming from Meantime. And again, Meantime, I don't think I got into the lineage there, but that's another Berserk and Billions kid. And this is, I think, the best Billions 2.0 offspring. Meantime, really great horse. So, yeah, hopefully that makes up for us sniping you, Renowned, me pumping up your horse here on the show. But it is really a beautiful horse. We love Meantime. And then the very best Staunch comes from the very best there is, and Staunch, and that's a pretty darn good horse in itself. So we're really excited for those. And then you got the benefit here on this one of it being both super rare and a moon coat. So this one's got a lot of grand. If it's a good racer, you're gonna see it in a lot of grand finals. Big qualifier there. 4 more horses here. So we got a Z21 Buter in here, and actually we meant to run this one in that Z21 to 50 conditional event the other day, and we forgot about it. And so now it's here, and I think I'm not sure if the bottleneck here with Lucky Maiden is we typically enter 20 to 25 horses, and Kevin and I will split them up and run them. It's a lot of racing to get those to 20 races in the 4-day window, and keep track of, which horse is which, where should I be running it. It's just having the bandwidth to do that, along with everything else that we normally do to run the stable, as far as Kevin running our hundreds of other horses and breeding out everything. It just becomes a lot. So horses like this, we go back and forth on, because it is eligible for the Z21 Plus, it's eligible for Buter, and it's eligible for Cross. This belongs in the Lucky Maiden. It's got really good lineage coming from Sumo Special and Fantasy File. If you look at those bloodlines, they're both pretty solid horses. This one should be in the Lucky Maiden. I think we'll put it in. I don't know. If you want this horse, hit us up and we'll sell it to you at a fair price that you can enter it in, and then we won't have to run it. But just so many outs with that one. It can qualify for so many different grand finals in the Lucky Maiden. 3 more horses. All right, we got another cross here, Z11 Nakamoto. And this one's coming from Wizard Couse and Sub-Zero X Annihilation. Both really nice horses. So this is another fun cross bloodline. And 2 more. Okay, Z14 Finny exclusive. Oh, this one's coming from Shadow for Days and F in the chat. I am excited about this one. I don't know how it's going to turn out. There's just a ton of variants coming from this combination. Shadow for Days is one of the highest variance horses in the game. It's right there with your vanilla beans. And F in the chat is one of the best Finnies in the Genesis Finnies in the game. And it's got quite a bit of variance too. So maybe variance overload, we'll see. But again, the threshold for that Finny grand final is not super high. So I like this one's chances, at least competing for that top 12 to get into that. And last horse here. Let's see. What is this one? Z7 Nakamoto Elite Filly. Oh, this one I am very excited about as well. Metatron and the Royal Navy. We paid quite a bit for this Metatron breed. Crazy Horse pinged us when he put Metatron in at 0.7, I think it was. Metatron has had a lot of success, both on the track and in the breeding barn. So we actually own another Metatron offspring, and that one turned out really well. So we wanted to get one more into the stable, and we lucked out with a filly too. We're really excited to get this filly. So the Royal Navy is a very nice exclusive female of ours, and that one's coming from Admiral is the Z1 stud, and Royal Irony is the female. So those are the horses that we have currently. There's going to be a few more, and we may decide not to enter a couple of these. Like I said, we try to keep it at we try to start out with 20, and then inevitably over the first couple days of the Lucky Maiden, we end up breeding a couple more, and it's let's just enter it. And at that point, we typically cut bait on a handful of these 20 that we do start out entering, because they turn out to be trash horses. So it happens. So this is our thought process. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I know it's It's tough doing a solo show here. I feel like I'm just rambling the whole time, but I'm not terrible at rambling. Um, hopefully this was useful information for you guys. Before I wrap up, I'm going to show you how to enter the Lucky Maiden in case you've never done it before. So the first step here, if we go back to Lucky Jack's sheet, there's a link on it to OpenSea where you can buy a token, and that is right here. So you'll click this link, and it's going to open in a different window for me. So now I got to share that one. Present. Guess I could share the window. Maybe next time. All right. So here's the OpenSea collection. So make sure you access it from that link, because I think there are fake ones. They're fake collections because there's, scammers everywhere. So don't buy a fake Lucky Maiden entry token, please. Use Lucky Jack's sheet, click the link from there, and pull it up like this. All right, so you buy your token based on the bloodline. If you're entering a bread buterin, it's 0.022 Ethereum. Finny is 0.028, Sabo 0.036, and Nakamoto 0.044. And then these other ones are for Genesis. If you want to enter a Genesis, the prices increase. So we'll actually be entering a Genesis Nakamoto into this one. We recently bought On Point for 4.5 Ethereum. So we'll be entering that one, and the price is, I'm not sure which one of these is right, if it's 0.33 or 0.36, but we'll need to buy one of those tokens to enter that horse. So after you buy one of these, let's see, I'll click on Bread Nakamoto, and you'll click Add to Cart, complete the purchase. You'll have to do a couple clicks from there. So this token, make sure you buy it from the wallet that has your unraced horse that you're going to be entering into the Lucky Maiden. You want your horse and your token in that same wallet. After you've purchased the token and it's showing in your wallet here on OpenSea, next you're going to go over to Zombie Racing. A couple hoops that we got to jump through here to actually get entered into the Zombie Maiden. So from the Zombie Racing site here, you're going to need to connect your wallet, and you're going to connect that same wallet that has the token and the unraced horse in it. And then you'll go to tournaments. I'm not sure if you need to connect your wallet before or after. I'm not on my computer that has my MetaMask that we're going to be using, so I'm not actually entering here. But I think you might be able to go. So you'll go to the bloodline that you want to enter here. So let's say we bought that Bread Nakamoto token. We're going to go here to Bread Nakamoto. We're going to hit sign up. And you can see there's only 13 Nakamoto signed up. There's only 6 Sabos right now, 11 Finnies, 7 Buterins. Of course, these numbers will skyrocket on Sunday as the ZED Maiden starts up and everybody gets their horses entered last minute. So keep an eye on these numbers, and you can see typically the Sabo one will be pretty low. And if it is, then you know that it's going to be a little bit easier to qualify for that grand final. So you'll click this sign up, and then it'll pull up. It may ask you to connect your wallet if you're not already connected. But once you do have your wallet connected and you click sign up, it'll pull up that token that you purchased on OpenSea. It automatically recognizes it. So like I said, I don't know if I have a wallet connected here. I don't think I do. If I did, if I purchased that token, I haven't yet. If I did, it would show up right here. I would click the token and hit select, and then it would automatically pull up any unraced horses that qualify as Bread Nakamotos for this event. And then I would select the one. I'd say make sure you name it before you come over here so that you can recognize if you've got a bunch of them, which one's which. You'll select that horse and you'll hit enter, and that's it. Then you're in, and you can follow along. These will turn into leaderboards, and actually they may be leaderboards already if you click on them. Of course, that opened another window. Yeah, I think they are already leaderboards right now. So you click those and you can follow along with those. There's going to be an overall leaderboard here once it starts up. All right, I think that wraps it up. Just a reminder, if you buy one of our horses out of that arbitrage UUU sales stable. I'll pull it up one more time. And so anybody that buys a horse between when that this week's show dropped yesterday and when the Lucky Maiden starts will be entered into a raffle. One person will be selected. They'll get 10% of our profit from the Lucky Maiden 7. And then anybody else that didn't win that 10% will get a cut of another 10% of our profit. So again, I think we've already sold 8 horses, maybe. So if we sell like another 7 and there's 15, one of those people will get 10% of our profit, and then the other 14 will split the other 10%, if that makes sense. Just trying to clarify so there's no confusion. Let me pull up that stable here. All right, so you can see, just to show one more time, you can search arbitrage UUU, hit enter, and the stable shows up right here. And here's the ones that we have left for sale. And there's all kinds of varying price points. But we discussed that a little bit more detail on the last show. If you haven't listened to that, go back. We talked about 6-gate strategy, pretty much everything that we could think about that we thought was useful for 6-gate races, because everyone's still kind of trying to get acclimated to those. All right. I'll catch you guys later.